What is this madness? Okay, we're back. It's Sunday. I shouldn't be thinking about these things on Sunday, but it was keeping me up at night. So we're back to what I'm going to call, I'm going to start calling it going to call it the cookbook. That'll be a good name, the cookbook. And this question of 1,280 notes in a minute. Is that even possible? Now, someone on the first video of this series, which I will link in the description, that video, because you need to watch that video to understand what I'm doing here, or what I think I'm doing. They put in the video, after I figured out how to make a PDF, yes, I figured out how to make a PDF, yay, and I put it down in the description, and I will continue to put the PDF of this cookbook down in the description. It says the pupil should be playing at a rate of 128 notes per minute. My husband did the math. We kind of sat down and did the math, and that's roughly 22 notes per second. So it got me thinking. And I realized in my files from way back, I have completely forgotten about this, that I had printed out. Some of you might know who this man is. Chuan C. Chang. He wrote a book, which is now available on Amazon and other places. But back in 1999, yes, 26 years ago, before I even moved to where I'm currently living, I printed this out, and this was just a draft he was making of the now final book on piano technique. I don't know if the camera can see that. I have 2 pages from here that I'm going to make PDF of, where he explains, gives us a little more insight on how this can be done. This whole situation that's outlined in the cookbook. And what he talks about is specifically what he's calling the chord attack. Now, I realize this might not be something new to a lot of you out there, but I know for a lot of us that learned piano, where the traditional situation where you put your metronome on at a certain, kind of a slow speed, and you learn something going, okay, I've got that, now let's go a little bit faster. And we come at it from that standpoint of going slow to fast. Well, invariably, if you're trying to go very fast, you're going to hit a speed wall, even if you're not really going that fast. Those of us who grew up driving stick shift cars, which people really don't anymore, but on a stick shift car, you know that you have to change gears once you get to a certain RPM. You've got to change those gears and go into a lower gear and lower gear to where eventually you're just gliding along, right? And if you try to drive your car in first gear, you're going to burn the motor out. It's the same thing with this piano thing. The faster you go, you need to basically shift gears and become more relaxed, more efficient, and tinier and tinier motions on how you're moving. Tinier and tinier motions. That's where the chord attack comes in. Now, what he is basically talking about is that if you take a chord and you play it all at once, these 3 notes, let's say it's 5 notes. When I play them all at once, I'm now going infinite speed. That's infinitely fast. All the notes are going down together. Then if I want to, I come at the speed by slowing it down. So this is infinitely fast. Then I'm going to, and slow it down and come at it from that direction, if that makes sense. So I will link these 2 pages from this book in the PDF so that you can read these 2 pages where he describes what's going on. But I'm going to take the cookbook situation and I'm going to come at it from what I'm going to call a chord attack. He calls it serial playing versus parallel playing. You're going from playing everything all at once to basically slowing it down. So let me move the camera So when I say, what is with all this sorcery, I had that again in a comment in the first video that I posted. And in the cookbook, it says we need to put 8 beats between 100 and 60. 8 notes, I'm sorry, 8 notes between 100 and 60. So let me turn this off. If I take 2 hands and I outline those notes that we need for the first unit in this scale. Again, I explain it in my first video. Here's the first unit from D flat to E flat. And in the cookbook, they call those pier notes. So if I'm going from here to here, now what if I were to play these all at once? That's infinite speed. Now, if I take this 160, basically we need to be going from D flat to E flat. That's a quarter note. And in the cookbook, they're calling that a quarter note. Now, if I play it all, kind of slow it down. That's the speed right there, but I'm using 2 hands, so that's kind of like cheating. So the idea is one hand needs to play like that, but that speed I just showed you. So then I started thinking about the chord attack from the Chang book, and I will put a link in the description of a website you can go to where his book from 2014, I don't know if it had been published yet, there's a version of the book on a website. I'll put that as well. But he talks about this would be a chord, this would be a chord, and this would be a chord. Because you're going like this. And this book also explains the technique of the thumb, that the thumb is not really going to go under, it's going to just move over and move over. Because once you start going very fast, you don't have time for this thumb to come under. He calls it, in this book, he calls it thumb over. Now, I realize there's many technique systems that talk about what to do with the thumb. This is not anything new information. But I'm revisiting it, and I'm hoping that some of you will come along for the ride with me. So the first thing I'm going to test is just getting those. Now the left hand, similar situation. You got 2 notes, 4 notes, 3 notes. Left hand is 2 notes, 4 notes, 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes, 2 notes. And he talks about just first you might practice something together, but then you start to kind of wiggle, kind of slow them down. So this is me kind of working out this problem. And again, just thinking, here we are. These are the notes you need to get between that seems almost humanly impossible, but this is what we're here to work out. And I really appreciate people who are, I'll get back in the camera, I really appreciate those of you who are engaging with me and kind of working out this problem together. And I'm humble enough that if you say, Gail, you know, this is just basic stuff, direct me in a direction where I can look at something. And if anyone can find any videos that are going over this, I haven't really found any. I would really appreciate if you send me a link, because I really enjoy problem solving, and for me this is just all about solving a problem.